And welcome, friends, to another edition of Our Reviews Will Kill You Chat Room. This is our YouTube show where we discuss current and topics of the day. We don't necessarily include this as part of our normal podcast that we do, but this is some additional content for you folks. I am the man you may know as Z, and I am joined as always by the flamingly orange, mildly bearded Noob.
My drink sucks today!
That's not a shocker because everything about you sucks. And
At least I swallow.
I have in the words of the immortal Scott Keebler, as you can see, my shirt here says,
Scott will kill you. That is correct. As always, ScottWillKillYou.com. Shameless plugs. See, Noob, the mistake that you make is you make fancy drinks with all these ingredients. Just pick a good whiskey, stick with it. That's all you need, and you will be happy in life. That is advice that everyone should take. Good whiskey is all you really need.
I'm saving that for our special segment by ourselves.
Yes, of course. And today we're going to discuss, we brought another super special guest on. We are really excited, and you've heard him before. You've heard him on the show. He's our one of our go-to experts here. It's Elliot from Movie Files. Welcome, Elliot.
What's going on, guys? Hey, happy to see you guys too. We made this kind of like an annual ritual. We all get together and talk about movie news. The last few years it was Infinity War and Endgame, and now we're here to talk about some movie news. So I'm excited to be with you all tonight, and I hope you guys are staying safe and practicing social distancing and washing your hands and all that good stuff.
Wait, you're supposed to wash your hands?
Yeah. That's supposed to cure it all.
I've just been washing my balls, and that's it. Just like I've been leaving my hands alone. The important things.
Right.
Scott also hasn't left his house, so I don't think that really matters. I can see that you have a gloriously luscious beard, my friend.
Yeah, man. It's been a while since I've seen the barber, so it's growing out the quarantine beard, man, and we'll see how long this is gonna last.
I know this is only 3 weeks. Can you believe that?
Nice.
We do, like, I see like your profile pictures and your in your reviews as it slowly goes on. It's getting further and further.
Yes.
Well, what we're all here to talk about tonight is the really, I guess, unfortunate state of movies. Like, we keep reviewing things. We're all reviewers here, and as we can tell, we're going to start running out of new stuff pretty soon. There's no theaters to go into. I know in the China market, they tried to reopen the theaters, and that did not go so well for them. And I know, I mean, it's a huge part of the economy, and we're all sad to see it. So why don't you give us kind of your thoughts about what's going on right now with the state of moviedom?
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate state that we're in for us movie fans out there. We're used to seeing our big blockbuster films or indie films, horror films, comedies, and it's been a few months. I think the last film I saw, two last films I saw it was The Hunt and Bloodshot. So I would have never guessed in a million years those would be the last two films that I would have seen in the theater. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, we're just in a state now where we're seeing these big blockbusters, or not big blockbusters, but Trolls 2 and Scoob and all these films that we would have thought would have hit the theater and probably made a pretty decent amount of money, but they're now on VOD. And that's maybe the future. Maybe the theater is becoming the blockbuster of its time in regards to this whole new generation of kids that are on Disney Plus and watching their mom's iPhones and iPads and all that stuff. And they're growing up with the movies handheld versus going to the big screen theaters. So things are looking to be changing the longer and longer we stay in this quarantine.
Yeah. And
it's an outrage.
Go ahead, Scott.
We do have a comment in the chat, a question. How was Bloodshot?
Considering that Vin Diesel will be the last movie star that you ever see in the theaters.
Right. I go into movies a little bit different with a different kind of lens. I always go into theaters or movies where it's just like, I don't expect every movie to be Godfather, Lord of the Rings, Oscar-worthy movies. They advertise an action film with Vin Diesel. I've been watching him for a very long time now with the Fast and Furious film. So I went in there expecting just an action film with a comic book character I'm not too familiar with. Sure, it has its tropes, it has its flaws. The story's pretty predictable, but for what it was worth for a first-time director, I think it had like a $60 million budget. The VFX were pretty solid. It gave me what I was expecting, which was pretty much what it was, you know. So, but I know it's gotten some pretty bad reviews, but I had fun with it for what it was worth.
I think I'd check it out. I mean, I liked. Did you ever see Vin Diesel in Pitch? What is it? Pitch Black? Not Pitch.
Yeah,
Perfect.
all that stuff. Pitch Black. You know, his Reddick series. I saw The Last Witch Hunter. Now those movies I saw at home. I didn't go out to the theater to go see them, but I've seen pretty much all his films. And you know, he is who he is at this point in his career.
And I feel like that was like one of the last movies right before the quarantine really hit. Right, that was like in the theaters for 1 week, and then quarantine kind of cut it off, right?
Yeah, literally that, The Hunt, and Onward were like, the Onward was like March 6th, The Hunt was like the 13th, and like all those films got caught right in the midst of the quarantine that we're in now and the COVID-19.
It's crazy too.
Yeah, I had
The
my
Hunt
tickets.
got caught in that was in kind of developed, like it got canceled.
Yeah,
and they got re-released. And what were you gonna say, Noob?
No, I said I had my tickets for both Bloodshot and The Hunt to see on that Sunday, and then the theaters closed. So I was like, motherfucker.
Oh, so okay. I guess Elliot, you probably saw them maybe advanced screening or like Friday or Saturday, and then
it was
Sunday,
like a Tuesday for something. Yeah, I saw Tuesday for Bloodshot because I had an early screening, and then I think literally I saw Hunt like Thursday, which was like, and then the very next day I think like most of the theaters closed. So I saw The Hunt like literally like the day before everything kind of went down.
So what do you think? What are you going to be most disappointed that you wish you would have caught coming either this summer or a release that you already missed? Like what do you think about that? So
the big ones that we've already missed now, just kind of recapping, what was it? A Quiet Place 2, which was one of my most anticipated films of the year for sure. You know, Mulan for what it was. You know, I'm a big grow up with the Disney films, and the live actions haven't been that great, but it looks like it was going to be a little bit more true and authentic to the Mulan mythology versus the cartoons that we all grew up with, which was, I guess, was very offensive to the Asian community. Yeah, they thought it was just like an insult to them. So I was interested to see what they're going to do there. And then we would have gotten 007 by now, No Time to Die, Daniel Craig's last film, and, you know, seeing what they're going to wrap up that storyline with. And then what was another big one that we would have? Oh, and then
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Yep, we would have saw that last week. So all those films were films I was looking forward to, but the one that I would hate to miss out on, and I think this is the one that everyone's been talking about, is Tenet. You know, we still have 2 months away from that, and we'll see what Warner Brothers, apparently they're going to make a decision this week or next week about what they're going to do with it. But that was a big one on my list. But yeah, all those other films I just mentioned were pretty bummed I missed them at the theater. But who knows? They might be re-released later this year. We'll see.
I think I read somewhere. Go ahead, Noob.
Now, I said, is there any of those films that you would want to specifically wait to see in a theater as opposed to if they released it early on VOD?
Great question, man. I think the big three that come to mind is I think of A Quiet Place because that was one of my favorite theatrical experiences back in 2018. Just everyone in the audience, you know, wasn't on their phone. Everyone was quiet. You know, it wasn't a lot of people talking. So I always remember that theatrical experience, and obviously remembering it being a really good film. So I would love to see the second one in the theater. You know, it's been a tradition for the last 10 plus years seeing every Marvel movie in the theater. So I couldn't imagine seeing Black Widow on a small screen. I would definitely want to see it on the big screen just to kind of continue that tradition. And then 007. You know, I didn't necessarily grow up with James Bond, but the first time I saw, I've never seen a James Bond film in the theater. So I would have loved to have seen, you know, Daniel Craig's last outing as the you know, James Bond character on the big screen. So those three are definitely ones I can't imagine seeing on a small screen and have to see a big screen.
I did see somewhere that there's hashtag like Tenet. I forget what it is, but there's like a hashtag going around about like Tenet will save the theaters. Like, yeah, it seems like weird. I mean, I'm very excited for it. Huge Christopher Nolan fan, but to put that much expectation on a movie just seems really scary.
Yeah, man. I think it's just smart.
Well, I think it's because he shot so much of it in IMAX film and to be seen in theaters, obviously.
Yeah.
So you think I do think that might help theaters is. As we've seen maybe across the nation, a lot of theaters are going smaller. They're going with food and alcohol and like trying to bring up that dollar bill price. You know, you can pay $14 or $10 for a ticket, somewhere in that range, but we're going to get you on the condiment. And, you know, people like that, though. And then the big ticket IMAX theater movies, which seem to be, you know, from what I remember, IMAX was doing fairly well before all this kind of hit.
Well, you think about it, some of these theaters already have that social distancing thing involved in them. You got these big, comfy sofas, which are fantastic. I've fallen asleep in more movies recently than I ever have in my whole life. But these seats are 8 feet wide. All it's just sit in one, you're automatically social distance from the person who's like 10 feet over from next to you. Those theaters are already ahead of the curve.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the old theaters and the big chains that really struggle. Because it seems like, at least in our area, the AMC theaters have really focused on the smaller, more boutique theaters, as opposed to like the big, like, 14 screens. Like, it's going back to kind of the old days. Long time ago, I guess, like back in the 80s. There were only 2 screens per theater, right? And that was kind of the thing. There
Right.
wasn't these multiplexes. And then that started to kind of become a thing. And then it kind of got too big when Regal and AMC kind of pushed everybody else out. And now you could see like there's a really big fight between Regal, AMC, and the movie companies. Like they're refusing to show Universal picture films, and there's going to be a pretty big fight going through. So I don't know where that stands with any of those.
Yeah, last time I read, man, it was this most recently Bob Chevik or Bob, whatever, the new CEO of Disney came out the other day and said that he's actually kind of in the same boat as Universal, where they're going to kind of reevaluate their theatrical movies versus VOD versus theatrical and VOD on the same day. So, and last time, AMC said they're still sticking by their guns, and Regal that they're not going to be playing Universal films for the foreseeable future, which is incredibly stupid on their part in regards to Fast and Furious 9. You're not going to play that at the theater. You're not going to play, Jurassic Park next year. It's just like right now, I think everyone's just kind of sensitive and kind of, obviously they see Universal just made a pretty big profit on Trolls 2, and they're obviously their theaters are closed, so they're not making any profits. And they, a couple months ago, it was read or rumored that they were filing for bankruptcy. So it's just like, I don't know where AMC's CEO's mindset's at, but I think by the time this thing gets figured out, that Universal and all them are going to hopefully get back on the same page, because people want to go to the theater and enjoy these films.
Although, could you imagine if it was a year prior and this happened for Endgame? Would you ever think that Endgame would be not released in a theater if Disney went that direction? That would be insane. I would lose my shit.
Yeah, I was literally thinking about that when, because it was just 2 weekends ago, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it was the 1 year anniversary for Endgame. And I couldn't imagine what would have went down if we would have never been able to see Endgame, and then obviously breaking box office records and $300+ million opening weekend, and obviously the, what it did for the whole industry. So yeah, that I don't even know. I couldn't even imagine what would have happened.
We had someone pop in the chat. Joshua Burdett says, "What up, Z? Looks like you got some friends out there. Noob, you still have none."
Yeah, that's right. What up? What up? That's my man, Doc. So thank you for checking in there, Doc. If you have any questions out there in chat world, please let us know. We have a movie expert on, our friend Elliot from Movie Files.
It's about time.
About time. We actually had an expert, someone who actually knew what they were talking about.
Yes, exactly.
My reviews are the best reviews in all of review land, so I don't know what you're talking about. Elliot, would you agree that my reviews are succinct, to the point, and most eloquent, if you would say so myself?
I mean, word around town is Noob is the Christopher Nolan of movie reviews, so that's what I heard.
I'm an expensive hooker when it comes to movie reviews. Like, I charge top dollar.
Yeah.
I'd still say Planet Manny has it on all of us. So
That's Planet Manny is on another level. That dude is just... we got to bring him on. We got to kidnap him. I think he lives in the South. We're just going to all go down, kidnap his entire family, hold it ransom. We're going to bring him on somehow.
So, Elliot, why don't you tell us a little bit about your show and what you do and the content that you've been creating? You put out a ton of material.
Yeah, man.
I know it's probably been a little bit of a struggle without new stuff. Tell us what you're doing now and what people can look forward to.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously no big movies at the theater, and you get a movie or so on Netflix and a couple of these other streaming platforms. So with my full-time job kind of being, in limbo to a certain extent, this YouTube thing has been kind of my full-time gig for the moment. So whenever there's a movie, whether it's I just watched the new Happy Madison Productions, The Wrong Missy, with David Spade and Lauren Lepke. where it's just essentially think of all the last 10 years of Adam Sandler films. It's on Netflix, and he's had this 6-year relationship with Netflix. So I watched that today, and it was a film that I knew what I was going into when I watched it, but I still wanted to review it just because I'm just having a blast doing so. So yeah, in regards to my channel, streaming movies, I watch a lot of TV. I create this new series where I essentially go back to last year to the films that I missed. So whether that's a smaller, low budget indie film, horror film, comedy, if I miss it, I'm trying to go back and review those films and share my thoughts on them and maybe point people into the direction of the films that they may have missed as well last year. And something also I've been doing for the last 2 months is doing these watch-alongs, live watch-alongs on my channel. So we watch some of the films like Endgame and Infinity War and watch some films that are celebrating like its 40th anniversary. Like this past Saturday was the 40th anniversary for Friday the 13th. 2 weeks from now, I have a horror panel of people that I brought together that I see love the horror genre. We're going to be doing a watch along for The Shining, which is also celebrating its 40th anniversary. So movie reviews, TV reviews, watch alongs, and everything in between is what I do on my channel. And I've been, like I said, it's been the full-time gig for right now. I'm reviewing something like every day, it seems like, even though we don't have a lot of content out there. I'm trying to find something to review every day. So fun stuff over there at Movie File. So definitely check me out.
Well, we've been kind of dipping back, and I'll see a movie, and that'll connect me to a director that I might go back and then mistakenly watch a movie that I thought a director directed and then didn't direct it. So, I've been dipping my toe into the Korean movies at the moment. But
oh yeah, there's some good cinema out in Korean Asian films. Korean films in particular, like Train to Busan, and most recently on Netflix is a movie called Time to Hunt, which I watched a couple weeks ago, which is really good. So
I heard that's good.
Yeah, it's a lot of great cinema that I've been trying to dabble in regards to international films. So it's a wonderful world of films out there.
Well, it's the beautiful thing. We can go back to the catalog and go backwards and kind of recapture and enjoy some things. So I think there's a lot for the movie review community to do. I think that's pretty cool that you're doing the horror thing too. I'm probably the only horror expert on this particular panel. Except for the one degenerate in the corner who thinks that Jason...
Slasher films are the best. Halloween, best horror film of all time. Hereditary is a piece of shit. I hate Hereditary. You don't like... Elliot, come on. We're going to be best friends, but do you like Hereditary?
I was with you with Halloween, the 1978 being one of the best horror films of all time. It's my personal best. But Hereditary, man, that's one of the few films in the last 4 or 5 years that really kind of got to me on a kind of just a psychological horror level. I definitely the last 30 minutes or so kind of goes bananas with Ari Aster and kind of going back to the tropes that you might expect from that type of film. But everything leading up to that was just very, very deep and very dark and creepy and disturbing. So I like Hereditary more so than I do Midsummer. So
Midsummer, no bueno. I was not. I really was just like, what am I watching here?
Yeah, I don't know, but I like Ari Aster though. He's one of those new generation horror geniuses, in my opinion. Him, Jordan Peele, Robert Eggers, Jennifer Kent, all those wonderful creators are definitely bringing us some great horror.
So
James Wan, things like that.
You're saying that The Lighthouse was a horror movie?
A psychological horror? Yeah, I think it was.
I made these guys watch it, and
The horror was having to actually sit down and watch that movie. Of course, I only made it 15 minutes in. Noob actually sat there and watched the whole thing.
If you could get AIDS from watching a film, then I'm pretty sure I am loaded with them.
Nice.
Yes, he absolutely hated the movie and was furiously texting me at night like, why did you make me do this?
And of course, Z's laughing the whole time. The text on the other side of it is Z telling me that he's laughing at Noob trying to watch this stupid movie. So at that point, I knew I wasn't going to watch it anyway.
No, I mean it's not for everyone, that's for sure. Robert Eggers definitely has his own niche and kind of messages and the way he makes his film. So definitely understand it. It's definitely not for everyone, for sure.
Old timey horror, I guess, is what he's
fucking thing sucks.
Yeah, on some level it does. So, well, I think that's all we have for today. Scott, didn't you have his information?
His information has been strolling across the screen this entire time. You see, some of us out here that know, like, to plan ahead have actually talked yesterday to make sure that we were set for the show. Whereas other people wearing silly looking hats just waited till the last second and just didn't want to bother doing any work beforehand. But no, so his information has been strolling across the screen the entire time. On Instagram, you can find him at Movie Files. At YouTube, it's youtube.com/moviefiles. And if there's anything else that you want to plug in right now, man, now's your chance.
No, those are the two. I'm on Instagram pretty regularly in regards to just, keeping up to date with all the movie news and latest reviews and things of that nature. But yeah, YouTube is where a lot of my energy has been on right now in regards to, like I said, a lot of shows, a lot of movies, a lot of watch-alongs, and a lot of fun times. So definitely check me out on those Instagram and on YouTube.
I think next time we'll have to do a beard oil review. Get some oil.
Yeah, we'll have to check up and see where everyone's post-quarantine, if the beards are still there or if they've got any
who's
longer.
Taking care of it, who's got the bombs, who's taking care of it, who's combing it, who hasn't showered in a month.
Noob is the answer to all of those things.
My chest hair is really growing pretty well. Like if you want me to go shirtless right now, I most certainly can.
Please don't.
Nice. Rocking the Teen Wolf. I see it.
He called you Teen Wolf. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Elliot. We really appreciate it. And to all of y'all at home, you know where to find us. And stay safe out there, and we love y'all.
You've had greatest of fears.